Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you for a minute. Just a minute of your time, because this is important, and I'm not here to whisper sweet things that make you feel good for a second. No, I'm here to put a little pressure on your spirit, a little weight on your soul, the kind of weight that makes your knees buckle and your back straighten all at once, the kind that reminds you you were born for more than sleepwalking through life. You see, we're in 2025 now. Not 2020, not 2021, not some imaginary someday. Right now, you hear me, right now. This is the year when it stops being a dream and starts being a decision. This is the year when you look at yourself in the mirror, not the mirror on your wall, but the one in your soul, and say, I'm done waiting, I'm done hoping, I'm done watching other people live the life I know I was built to live. Because you've been carrying potential in your bones for years now. You've been walking with greatness in your pockets, like loose change jingling, reminding you with every step, hey, I'm still here, use me. But every time fear knocked on your door, you let it sit down and make itself comfortable. You made excuses into roommates, you turned doubt into a lullaby, and you let procrastination become your bedtime story. But that ends today. You hear me, get up. Get up, because nobody's gonna hand it to you. Nobody's gonna walk into your life with a silver platter, a golden opportunity, and a round of applause. This ain't Hollywood. This is real life. And real life don't wait for you to be ready. It shows up. It demands, it pushes, it challenges, it says what you got. And if you ain't got something to give, it moves on without you. Get up, because the world needs your voice, not your imitation of someone else. Not your edited, filtered, half-stepping version of who you think you should be. The real you. The one that's messy, loud, passionate. The one with the ideas that don't make sense to everyone else, but set your soul on fire. That version of you, that's the one the world is starving for. And you've kept it locked in the basement long enough. You think greatness is some faraway mountain. No. It's a decision you make every morning when your alarm goes off. It's choosing to show up when you don't feel like it. It's choosing discipline over desire, persistence over pity, and courage over comfort. That's greatness. That's what it takes. And don't you dare tell me you're tired. I know you're tired. We're all tired. Life has a way of dragging you through the mud. Some of you have been knocked down so many times, you started decorating the ground like it's your home. But let me tell you something. The ground is not your home. You were made to rise. You were made to fight. You were made to get back up. You fell, get up. You failed, get up. You got embarrassed, get up. You got betrayed, get up. You got overlooked, underestimated, pushed aside. Get up, because every time you rise, you teach your pain a lesson. You teach your past that it does not get to define your future. You teach the people watching. Yeah, those ones who doubt you, who talk behind your back, who think they know your limits, that you are not done. You are not broken, you are just beginning, and I know you've been waiting for a sign. We always are. A message from the sky, a perfect moment, a guarantee. But let me tell you something about signs. You don't find them. You become them. You become the proof that it can be done, that someone like you, with your background, your setbacks, your story, can still rise. There's a fire in you, and it's been flickering in the dark for far too long. But now it's time to fan that flame with action, with consistency, with vision. You don't need everything figured out. You don't need the whole staircase. You just need the courage to take the first step. Get it done. Get it done even when it hurts. Get it done when nobody's watching. Get it done when the applause is gone and all you've got is grit. You think success is about motivation. No. Motivation comes and goes like the weather. 1 minute it's sunshine, the next it's storming. You can't count on it, but you can count on discipline. You can count on effort, on that decision to show up when everything in you says hide. That's what separates the average from the unstoppable. And I know, life hasn't been fair. You've been dealt some hard hands. You've lost people, lost time, lost hope. But you're still here. You're still breathing. And as long as you've got breath in your lungs, you've got power in your hands. Power to choose. Power to fight. Power to build something that outlives you. You want 2025 to be different. Don't just talk about it. Don't just post quotes. Don't just get inspired for a week and then disappear back into comfort. Be consistent. Be obsessed. Be relentless. Wake up every day with something to prove. Not to them, but to you. To the little kid inside you who used to dream without limits. To the future version of you who's waiting on the other side of this grind. Get up and get it done, because nobody's gonna remember your intentions. Nobody's gonna praise your potential. They only remember what you built, what you finished, what you became. So stop writing the same to-do list every week. Stop romanticizing the grind and start embracing it. Put in the work. Put in the reps when it's boring. Push through when it's hard. Speak life over your goals when doubt starts to whisper. And let me tell you something else. You will be tested, not just by people, not just by circumstances, but by time. Time will ask, are you serious? It will ask, do you really want this, or was this just a phase? And your answer won't be in your words, it'll be in your consistency. In how you move when nobody claps, in how you keep swinging when the scoreboard looks like you're losing. Don't wait for perfect conditions, they don't exist. Don't wait for motivation, it's fleeting. Wait too long, and you'll wake up a year from now in the same place, wishing you had started today. Don't let that happen. You've got something to say, say it. Got something to build, build it. Got a dream that won't leave you alone. That's not a coincidence, that's your calling. That's your purpose refusing to be ignored. And purpose is not passive, it is not quiet. Purpose kicks in your chest. Purpose won't let you sleep when you try to settle. Purpose demands action, so act, even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble, even if you fail a few times, fail forward, because failing is not the opposite of success. It is the path to it. Every champion you admire, every giant you look up to, they all started with a decision, not a destiny, a decision to keep going, and you have that same power right now. You don't have to see the whole picture. Just paint the first stroke. You don't have to leap the mountain. Just take the first step. Get up and get it done because the clock is ticking whether you're moving or not. And time is the most expensive currency you have. You can't earn it back. You can't rewind it. You either use it or you lose it. So use it wisely. Use it fiercely. Don't waste another morning scrolling through someone else's life while yours passes you by. Don't spend another week talking about change without taking a single step toward it. This life is not a rehearsal. It's the main event, and you're on stage now. Whether you're ready or not, and you are ready. You've always been ready. All that fear, that's just excitement without direction. All that doubt, that's just potential waiting for permission. And guess what? You don't need permission. You never did. You just need to decide. So decide. Decide to show up. Decide to fight for your dreams like your life depends on it. Because it does. Decide to leave something behind that's bigger than you. Decide that this year, this very year, you will not be a spectator. You will not be a victim. You will not be a ghost haunting the life you were meant to live. You will be a builder, a warrior, a finisher. You will get up and get it done. No more delays, no more maybes. No more one day. This is the day, this is the year, this is the moment. So what are you going to do with it? Get up and get it done. Time has never owed you anything. Not a second, not a chance, not a moment of ease. The truth is, you've been sitting on the edge of your potential long enough, tapping your fingers, making plans, talking about what you're going to do, telling yourself, I'm waiting for the right time. Like time is a thing that's going to come and knock on your door and say, all right, let's go now, everything's perfect. Let me tell you something, there is no perfect moment. There is no magical alignment of stars. There is only right now. That's all you've got, right here, right now. The clock doesn't care if you're scared. The days don't slow down because you're uncertain. Life doesn't pause while you get yourself together. It keeps moving, it keeps spinning, and you're either moving with it or standing still watching the days bleed into each other, wondering where the year went. You've spent enough time dreaming about it, writing about it, journaling, manifesting, praying for a door to open. But let me ask you, what have you done about it? What have you really done? Not what you intended to do, not what you told people you were thinking about doing. What did you do? That's the part we skip, isn't it? We love the idea of change, the idea of progress, the idea of success. But the action, the sweat, the sacrifice, that's where most people stop. That's where the waiting begins. But if you're always waiting, you're always behind. You're always one step away from your breakthrough, but you never make the step. And don't lie to yourself. Waiting is comfortable. It's safe. It's warm and familiar. You can't fail if you don't start. You can't lose if you never put anything on the line. But that safety, that comfort, that's the cage, and the longer you stay in it, the harder it becomes to leave. Because comfort is a thief. It steals your time, your hunger, your edge. It convinces you that you've got all the time in the world to get serious. But you don't. You don't know how many days you've got left. That's not fear mongering, that's just real. And you want to spend another year circling the same goals, talking the same talk, making the same promises to yourself that you already broke last year. No. Enough of that. It's time to move. You see other people winning, and you wonder why it's not you. You watch them succeed and grow and shine, and you start to think maybe they've got something you don't. But they don't. They're not smarter, not more talented, not luckier. They just started. They got tired of waiting, tired of wishing. They didn't wait for permission or a sign. They moved. They acted. And the universe responds to movement. It responds to momentum. But it won't move for you until you move first. And I get it. You're scared. You've been disappointed before. You've tried things that didn't work out. Maybe you've failed. Maybe people laughed. Maybe you laughed at yourself. But that's not a reason to sit down. That's not a reason to go silent. That's a reason to get up and try again, smarter this time. Stronger, louder, more determined. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need the whole plan. You just need to say, I'm going to take this first step. That's it, one step. Because once you take the first, the second becomes easier. And then the third, then the fourth, and suddenly you're not just thinking about it anymore. You're doing it, you're building it, you're living it. But as long as you keep waiting, nothing changes. You think maybe you'll feel more confident next month. Next season, confidence doesn't come from waiting. It comes from action, from doing the thing even when you're shaking, from proving to yourself that you can survive it, that you're built for it, that you don't need someone else to sign your greatness before you believe it yourself. You've got people depending on you, whether you know it or not. Somebody is watching you, hoping you'll rise so they know they can too. Your example matters, your energy matters. And when you choose to stay still, when you choose to let fear anchor you in place, you don't just rob yourself. You rob everyone who needs what you carry. There are books in you, businesses in you, ideas, songs, inventions, movements. And none of that can happen while you're still sitting on the fence. You've got to leap, and yeah, you might fall. But what if you fly? What if this is the year that everything changes? But it won't change if you keep treating time like it's unlimited. Like you can put your calling on layaway. You can't borrow time from tomorrow to pay for today's hesitation. That debt always comes due, and the cost is heavy. Regret is a heavy thing to carry. And most people don't break under failure. They break under regret, under the weight of wondering, what if I had just tried? What if I had just started? You don't want to be one of them, looking back 5 years from now, wishing you had been bolder, wishing you had believed a little more. You don't want to waste this fire you've got inside you, because it's there. I know it is. You wouldn't feel restless if it wasn't. You wouldn't hear that voice in your gut telling you there's more if there wasn't. But the voice only speaks. It's up to you to move, to act, to shift your mindset from I'm thinking about it to I'm working on it, from I hope to I will, from someday to today. Today is all you have. And it's enough. It's more than enough if you treat it like the gift that it is. Not some throwaway day, not just another Monday or Wednesday, but a door. A real, living, breathing door. And if you don't walk through it, it closes. Maybe not forever, but long enough that you forget what was behind it. So don't wait. Don't wait for people to believe in you before you start. Don't wait for fear to leave. Don't wait for it to be easy or convenient or clear. Clarity comes through motion. Breakthrough comes through action. So take that first step. No matter how small, no matter how messy, take it and take another. Because every step forward is a choice to stop waiting. A choice to become the person you were always meant to be. Motivation is a spark. It's a rush. It's that adrenaline that hits you after watching a powerful video or hearing a line that shakes your soul. And don't get me wrong, it feels good. It can move you to tears. It can lift you out of a slump. It can even get you started, but it won't keep you going. Not when it's cold outside. Not when it's dark in your mind. Not when the noise of the world gets louder than your dreams. Because motivation is a mood, and moods change. Discipline doesn't care about moods. Discipline is the difference between starting strong and finishing strong. See, motivation whispers, let's do it today. Discipline says, let's do it every day. People chase motivation like it's fuel. They think if they just find the right quote, the right speaker, the right hype track, they'll finally move. But motivation is not fuel, it's lighter fluid. It flares up, burns bright, and disappears. Discipline is the engine. It runs when the road is smooth and when it's bumpy. It runs when you're full of energy and when you're drained. It runs when nobody's watching. That's the power of discipline. It doesn't wait on a feeling. It builds a habit. The truth is, the most successful people in the world, the ones you look up to, they're not motivated all the time. They're not superhuman, they get tired, they get discouraged, they get distracted. But what they do have is the discipline to show up anyway. That's what separates them. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They create consistency that carries them through the imperfect ones. Motivation might get you out of bed one day. Discipline gets you out of bed every day. Motivation might push you to write one chapter. Discipline writes the whole book. Motivation signs you up for the gym. Discipline gets you there when your body's sore, when your legs are heavy, when your alarm feels like punishment. And the hardest part, discipline feels boring sometimes. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. There's no cheering crowd, no viral moment, no fireworks. It's just you and the task, over and over and over again. But that's where mastery lies. That's where growth happens. In the quiet, in the repetition, in the daily commitment to getting just 1% better. People think discipline is punishment. They hear the word and associate it with restriction, with sacrifice. But discipline is not the enemy. It's the bridge. It's the thing that turns vision into reality. It takes your big, loud, colorful dreams and makes them tangible, step by step, choice by choice. You want freedom. Real freedom that comes from discipline. The freedom to build a life on your terms, not based on your emotions, not based on impulse, but built on the foundation of habits you chose and stuck with. Freedom is waking up and knowing you can trust yourself to follow through. Because that's the thing. Discipline builds trust, not with the world, but with you. When you say you're going to do something and you actually do it, not once, but repeatedly, you start to believe in your own word. You start to realize you're not at the mercy of procrastination or excuses. You are in control, and that belief, that's powerful. But let me be real with you, discipline is going to cost you. It'll cost you comfort. It'll cost you convenience. It'll cost you some nights out, some easy mornings, some quick pleasures. But what it gives you in return, long-term peace, deep pride, the quiet confidence of knowing you're becoming someone better, not because you feel like it, but because you chose to. Motivation is loud, discipline is quiet. It's the alarm at 5 a.m. It's the meal prep when you want takeout. It's the study session when everyone else is relaxing. It's the cold shower, the extra rep, the third rewrite. It's not flashy. It's not fun all the time, but it works. It works because it removes emotion from the equation. Discipline says, I made a commitment and I'm going to honor it, whether I'm in the mood or not, whether I'm tired or not, whether the results are instant or not. Discipline plays the long game. It plants seeds with patience, knowing the harvest is coming, even if it's not tomorrow. And you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to nail it every single day. That's not discipline. That's obsession. Discipline means showing up more than you don't. It means getting back on track faster when you slip. It's not about flawless execution. It's about consistent effort. There will be days you don't want to do it, days when everything in you says, skip it, push it to tomorrow, nobody will know. But you'll know what it feels like to quit on yourself, and that feeling. That adds up. It chips away at your confidence. It rewires your identity. Every time you flake, every time you choose ease over effort, you teach yourself that your goals are negotiable. But when you choose discipline, even in the smallest moments, you stack wins. You build a track record. You reinforce the identity of someone who doesn't need to be motivated, who doesn't rely on emotion to move forward. You become the kind of person people look at and say, how do they keep going? But it's not magic. It's not genetics. It's not some secret sauce. It's just discipline, just doing what needs to be done, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. And the beautiful part is, the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. Not because the work gets lighter, but because you get stronger. Your standards rise. Your tolerance for excuses lowers. Your muscle for focus, for patience, for endurance. It grows. And eventually, the things that once felt impossible become your new normal. That's what discipline does. It stretches your capacity. It raises your baseline. It redefines what's hard and what's doable. And while others are still waiting for motivation to show up, you're already halfway through your day, getting it done, building momentum, moving forward. You don't need to wait for a mood. You don't need the perfect playlist, the perfect conditions, or the perfect mindset. You need a reason, a decision, a non-negotiable commitment to your growth. And that's something you control every single day. You are not lazy, you are not weak. You just haven't trained your discipline like a muscle. But it's there, and it's time to wake it up. You won't always feel like doing the work, but the work will always reward you. It will always build you, it will always pay off. Not in moments, but in movements, not in sparks, but in systems, not in hype, but in habits. Motivation might get you started, but discipline makes sure you finish. You're going to fall. That's not a maybe, that's not a warning. That's a fact. Life will hit you. Hard. It's going to knock the wind out of you, drop you to your knees, and sometimes it won't even give you a moment to breathe before it hits you again. And when it does, when everything around you feels like it's crumbling, you have two choices. Stay down and let it bury you, or get back up and make it mean something. Getting back up is not about pretending it didn't hurt. It's not about brushing things off like they didn't matter. No. What you went through mattered, the pain mattered, the loss mattered, the betrayal, the setback, the failure. It all mattered. But it's not the end of your story unless you let it be. Every champion, every leader, every person you've ever admired has fallen, not once, not twice, but over and over again. They've failed in public, they've been doubted, they've been counted out, but they didn't stay down. They used the ground as a lesson. They used rock bottom as a place to plant their feet and push off. See, there's power in falling. If you let it teach you, if you let it refine you instead of define you, if you stop seeing it as shame and start seeing it as experience. Because the truth is, you don't really know who you are when everything's going well. You learn who you are when things fall apart, when your plans collapse. When the support disappears, when your name isn't being called, when your wins go unnoticed, when you're in the dark and no one sees your struggle. That's when character is forged. And don't believe for a second that you're the only one going through it. Everybody gets knocked down. Life doesn't skip anyone. Pain is universal. But the choice to rise, that's personal. That's where the separation begins. That's where resilience is born. Not in the absence of hardship, but in the response to it. You might have failed. You might have messed up. You might have made mistakes that you don't even know how to come back from. But you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, you still have something to give. You still have a chance to rewrite the next page, because failure isn't final. It's feedback. It's redirection. It's the world asking you, how bad do you want it? and your answer can't come from words. It's got to come from action, from how many times you're willing to rise. And yeah, it hurts, of course it does. There's no courage in pretending the pain doesn't exist. Real courage is getting up even when your heart is heavy. Real courage is showing up when you feel broken. Real courage is pushing forward when every voice in your head is screaming for you to quit. Sometimes you won't feel strong, that's okay. Sometimes you won't know how to move forward. That's okay too. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take one step, one breath, one decision to stand back up. Because once you're up, you've already beaten the voice that said you couldn't. Getting back up isn't just about you. It's about everyone who's watching you, whether you realize it or not. There's someone right now who needs to see that it's possible to rise again. Someone who needs to know that failure isn't the end. That heartbreak isn't permanent, that strength can be rebuilt, and your comeback can be the blueprint for their breakthrough. You think nobody's watching, but they are. They're watching how you handle the storm. How you fight when things don't go your way. How you respond to the losses. And you've got a chance right here, right now, to be the example. Not of perfection, but of perseverance. You're going to get knocked down in ways you didn't expect. Sometimes it's life, sometimes it's people, sometimes it's your own choices, but the story isn't about what knocked you down. It's about what you did next. Did you let it define you, or did you rise and redefine yourself? And don't confuse rising with returning to who you were. No, rising means evolving, becoming wiser, stronger, more grounded. You don't bounce back, you build forward. You don't return, you rise different. Tougher, more resilient, with new scars that aren't signs of weakness, but evidence that you survived. The world loves a comeback story, but you've got to live one before you can tell one. And that means being willing to go through the pain, the process, the silence, the waiting. It means believing in yourself when there's no applause. It means choosing to move forward even when you feel like crawling, because the comeback doesn't start when everything's going right. It starts the moment you decide to stand up one more time than you've fallen. Don't you dare give your pain the power to stop you. Don't you let that mistake chain you down. Don't you let that failure become your identity. That's not who you are. You are more than what happened to you. You are more than what went wrong. You are more than who walked away. You are the author now. You pick up the pen and decide how the next chapter reads. You can build again. You can trust again. You can try again. You can love again. But none of that can happen if you stay down. You've got to stand. You've got to lift your head and move, even if your legs are shaking, even if your voice cracks, even if your heart is still healing. Because there's something beautiful waiting on the other side of this moment. But you have to rise to reach it, and rising doesn't mean you're finished falling. It just means you've made a decision, that no matter how many times life hits, you will not be defined by the fall. You will be defined by the fight. So take the pain, take the lesson, take the broken pieces and rise. Every time, you weren't born just to exist. You weren't put here to float through life, to blend in, to pass the time and call that living. No, you were born with purpose, and purpose isn't just an idea. It's a responsibility. It's a call, and like any call, it needs an answer. You can't answer it sitting still. You can't fulfill it by wishing, waiting, or watching others live there. Your purpose requires action. See, we love to talk about purpose. We love to dream about it, to romanticize it, to tell people we're searching for it, like it's a hidden treasure buried under the right book, or the perfect opportunity, or some sign from the sky. But purpose doesn't show up because you're hoping. It shows up when you move. You don't find purpose standing in place. You walk into it. You work your way into it, step by step, day by day. There's a reason why you've got that fire inside. That restlessness, that knowing that you're meant for something more, that's not your imagination. That's your purpose trying to shake you awake. But it can only call so loud for so long. If you don't answer, eventually the noise of the world drowns it out. The distractions get louder. The doubts get heavier. The excuses start sounding more like logic. And suddenly you've convinced yourself that surviving is enough, that playing it safe is smart, that maybe what you carry inside of you isn't meant to be born after all. But let me tell you, nothing will eat at you like untapped potential. Nothing will haunt you like knowing you could have done more but didn't, and it's not because you weren't capable, it's because you didn't act. You didn't move, you waited, you hesitated, you let fear stand between you and your future. Your purpose will not beg you. It will not force itself into your hands. It's not waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to be bold, waiting for you to take that idea and put your name on it, to stop saying one day and start saying now. Because talk is cheap, intention is meaningless without motion. Dreams mean nothing without the discipline to bring them to life. And don't think for a second that purpose is always glamorous, that it's always loud, always big, always center stage. Sometimes your purpose is quiet. Sometimes it shows up in the background. Sometimes it's about changing just one life, one conversation, one moment. But whatever it is, it still demands action. You still have to step up. You still have to do the work. You still have to face the resistance that shows up every time you try to grow. And resistance will come. The moment you get serious about living on purpose, everything that wants to keep you small will show up. Fear, doubt, distraction, discomfort, people who don't see your vision, people who tell you to stay in your lane, that's part of the process. If it were easy, everybody would do it. But most people stop when it gets hard. They retreat when it gets lonely. They quit when it stops being convenient. But you don't have time to quit. You don't have time to stall. You've already wasted enough time playing small, living safe, waiting for the perfect moment to arrive. The perfect moment is a myth. The right time is when you move. The clarity comes after the action. The confidence comes after the commitment. You don't get to feel ready and then act. You act your way into readiness. Purpose doesn't guarantee comfort. It doesn't promise applause. What it does promise is meaning. It promises growth. It promises that no matter how tired you are, how long it takes, or how many setbacks you face, what you're doing matters. It counts, and that's what you were made for. You weren't made to drift. You were made to build, and you don't need the whole map. Just the courage to take the next step, to write the first line, to start the business. To speak up, to serve, to heal, to lead, to create, whatever your purpose looks like, whatever shape it takes. You've got to move because purpose is not a possession, it's a process, and processes don't happen in your head. They happen in the doing, and maybe you don't feel qualified. Maybe you're thinking, who am I to chase this dream? You are exactly who you need to be, if you're willing to grow into more. Purpose doesn't come to the most gifted. It comes to the most faithful, the ones who show up, the ones who get better, the ones who keep swinging, keep showing up, keep building even when no one's clapping. You've got what it takes, not because it's going to be easy, not because it's going to fall into your lap, but because deep down you know you weren't meant to sit on the sidelines. That voice in your chest telling you there's more, that's your purpose pulling on your soul. But it can't do the work for you. The world doesn't need another person sitting on potential. It needs you in motion. It needs your gifts in action, not someday today, not after you've read every book, or after everything's organized, or after the fear disappears. Right now, messy, uncertain, but willing, because purpose doesn't wait on perfect. It waits on movement, and once you move, once you start putting action behind what you believe, the whole game changes. You build momentum, you build trust in yourself, and suddenly the impossible starts looking possible, not because it got easier, but because you got stronger. So move, make the call, write the plan, have the conversation. Take the leap, do the thing, even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble, even if you fail at first, because at least then you'll be living, not existing, not coasting, not waiting, living. That's what your purpose demands. That's what your life is calling for. Not more talk, not more theory, but real, grounded, deliberate action, again and again, until what you once only imagined becomes what you're living. Until the world can't ignore the fire you chose to fan into flames. Until the legacy you leave behind is one of movement, one of impact, one of purpose fulfilled.